Today I welcome Gugu Sidaki, founder and wealth manager at Wealth Creed, a successful financial advisory practice here in Johannesburg. Also, a mom to a 7-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, which I know is your real job. Welcome, Gugu. So nice to have you join us here today.
Thank you so much, Simone. Lovely to be here.
My name is Simone Arnold, and as part of the Women in Investing initiative here at 91, we've invited Gugu to share her thoughts around teaching our children some basic, lasting money lessons and how they can save for their future. I know this is a topic that you're incredibly passionate about. I know you've written a couple of books on trying to improve the financial literacy of children in South Africa. I think many of us would be quite surprised to learn how many people go through their whole lives only having a very basic understanding of their finances. And you're trying to change that one child at a time. Tell us a bit more about your My Three Piggies book trilogy and what you've accomplished through that.
Thank you so much, Simone. We are trying to change the lives of children in South Africa, one child at a time. I wrote the books purely for that, to help children manage their personal finances a lot better, to get a better understanding of how to look after money and how to make it last. And the vision for writing these books is to ensure that we have financially fit and financially secure children of the future.
Very important. I know you believe the greatest gift you can give a child then is financial literacy and sound and healthy financial habits. Research shows that by the time they're the age of 7, they've formed most of their habits already. So while we're trying to teach them their please and thank yous, should we not be focusing on teaching them healthy habits instead?
We should be. And it's so difficult when the majority of the adult population are fumbling through their finances. I mean, if you look at the global statistics around financial literacy rates, only 30% of adults are actually financially literate. And so many adults don't know how to manage their finances, so they would never understand their impact and their behavior on their children and their finances. So it's quite a difficult one.
Very tough. Now, I've got 2 daughters as well. I've got a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old. And when they were very little, I got the age-old question of, Mom, why do you work? And my response was, so we get to go on great holidays, of course. As a mom, and I was particularly excited to have the opportunity to chat to you today because I think that answer was wrong. How do I start? What actionable steps do I take now to ensure that my daughters have a great relationship with their future finances?
That's actually a great start. Children need to understand that there is effort required in order to make or earn money. They shouldn't believe that money just falls from the sky. So I think that's a really, really great place to start. And in fact, our books start right there, where Nyla gets to understand that her mom or her parents work, and that's where the money comes from. So perfect start. Don't beat yourself up about it. The second, and I think really important aspect of teaching children about money is to understand that your behavior actually affects them. So the things that you say, no matter how insignificant they seem. So things like, oh, I'm so broke. Oh, there just isn't enough money. That creates certain messaging in children's minds when it comes to money. And eventually they act on that.
And anxieties.
Absolutely. And that's what you're trying to avoid. And the third, I think, also very important thing is to ensure that children don't spend everything that they earn, or they understand that they mustn't spend everything that they earn or everything that they have. They need to allocate something for today, so something to spend for today. They need to allocate a portion of their funds for tomorrow to secure their futures. And it's important to teach children to share. In this world that we live in, there's so many difficulties that people are going through. So it's important to encourage philanthropy in children as well. And ultimately, it's important to teach children about delayed gratification. That's the hardest one to teach. Occasionally saying no to your children is teaching them really, really important life skills, that they can't have everything they want when they want it. So you started in the right place, but I think the other 3 points are really quite important as well.
And it's trigger points because my one daughter wants to spend everything she gets and the other one wants to save everything she's got. So yeah, it's a tough balance. But we can literally change lives, as you just said, by educating our little younger generation about being comfortable around money, empowering them to have financial freedom. And you can go to the best school in the world, but if you don't know how to manage your own money, it's worth nothing. And I think, just as you said, it starts at home. It starts with the parents, and not necessarily just the parents, but the families around the children, because they're watching how we're managing our own finances too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I can give you my personal experience. My dad was an entrepreneur, and he was involved in a number of businesses, and a lot of the businesses that he managed were cash businesses. So there was always money around in our household, but there were never any proper discussions around, earning money, spending money, and saving money. So as an adult, I became quite a spender. And quite ironically, because I'm in personal finance, but I learned really, really bad habits just by observing what my parents were doing. And obviously they didn't know any better. But it's important. It just speaks to your point that it's important for adults or for adults who have access to children to really be careful around what they say and how they behave with money when it comes to children.
It's quite a responsibility.
Huge.
Now, we've spoken a lot about empowering our future generation, our younger generation, but what practical advice would you give us as parents to help save for our children's future now?
I think the first, we spoke to it earlier, get them to earn money. No matter how insignificant they go about doing it. I think it's important for children to learn that there's a lot of effort that needs to be put in before they can actually get some money. So teach them to do chores and pay them for it, compensate them for it. Secondly, I think get saving boxes, money piggy banks for them. And if they're a little bit older, I think it's important for you to open a bank account or an investment account that you and your child can track and talk about, what goes into that account, how does it go into that account, and what the effect is of things like interest and capital growth and dividends and things like that. And finally, as I said, teach them not to spend everything. So teach them to allocate some for today, to allocate some for their future, and to allocate some to give.
That's a very tough job. You're adding another one onto our list of teaching our children. I think in closing, I just want to say that I really love a quote that's in your website. It's financial freedom is the destination, financial literacy is the path. And I think we've all got such a huge responsibility. And it's all of our responsibilities to make sure that we get the younger generation onto the correct path.
Absolutely. It starts with awareness, and we can only get better from there.
Thank you, Gugu. It's been absolutely amazing chatting to you today.
Thank you so much, Simone. Thank you for having me.